96.3 KRIM FM. It's Fanny in the morning, and I am going to take it over here. I'm going to pop the mic up for my guest, gentleman, Mr. Spotted Eagle, joining me today in the studio. Good morning, Spotted Eagle. How are you, darling?
I'm doing great. I just thought I'd share a bit of information with what's been coming about me and what I've been receiving and what's been coming in. And this is all spiritual information that happens to travel directly from high above all the way down into my spiritual soul. It's just something that seems to go on constantly, and every now and then we tend to get a little bit of a shift and a little bit of a change in life. And I noticed that on the 11th, when everything took place of this month, it just seemed to be a total shift. There was a lot of things that started changing. There were people that were coming to me asking me what the heck was going on and why is it that I walked off the job, or what is it that I did. It's not anything that they did. It's just an old formula that needs to be resolved from what was bad and what was that basically is going to come to a close on the 31st of this month, New Year's Eve, and basically it's going to be just like a face peel. It's actually going to be peeled off, and all of a sudden everything's going to look fresh, everything's going to blossom, and all of a sudden everything is going to look different. And I don't know if you noticed last week, Saturday, around about 2 o'clock, not this past Saturday, but last week, around about 2 o'clock, even I felt it. There was something that felt like the whole mask of the world, better known as Mother Earth to us, totally took on a brand new facelift. Even I had to readjust my frequency. I'll tell you, there is something that really happened. Even I had to sit down and kind of take myself into a meditation state and kind of feel what was actually going on, because there was a lot of things happening. I could not believe how many people that I ran into that were asking me, what is going on?
Do you feel like we're shifting to a better place, perhaps, dimensionally?
Yes, because there's what we call a true train of transportation, and that's basically a train which is the detaching of the old carts that are kind of decrepit and kind of losing style. So now what this new locomotive is doing is actually changing out, getting lubed, and then you got all these beautiful, nice, remodeled carts that have been rehitched up to the locomotive, and now what it's going to do is it's going to travel throughout the world. It is going to pick up everybody that's humble and sweet and don't have any signs of discrimination or negativeness carried in them, because basically before the 31st of this month, New Year's Eve, you have got to drop the old soul that you have inside, which is grief, anger, frustration, which is in reference to family or relatives that have caused you hardship. And it's just something that we need to do to purify ourselves and make ourselves much brighter. And that is going to be family that continues to travel. And we are actually going to go into a new dimension. Even though it may be here, you're going to notice everybody's going to start communicating, no matter what the racial color is. There will absolutely be no discrimination. There will all be positive communications.
You know, and I cannot remember which countries they are, but in the last month, I know in 2 different countries where there have been protests and riots occurring, there were 2 different stories of the police putting down their arms and actually sitting alongside the demonstrators and actually joining in their protest. And that is so refreshing to see. In some ways, I do believe we're heading towards a better place of consciousness. And, you know, Albert Einstein says that, insanity, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I think to some degree our society has done the same thing over and over again in a negative way, with a lot of fighting and war and corruption and greed. And we are learning we're never going to get a different result unless we perhaps try something new. So maybe moving towards a place of more compassion and love. You know, even our new Pope really pulling away from a lot of the old ideals and trying to move more towards a place of heartfelt compassion. I mean, I think I'm seeing what you're saying going on around the globe. What else was it? And I hate to even talk about Al-Qaeda because I don't think most of us do not care for Al-Qaeda. But at the same time, they even issued an apology this weekend because one of their members went out on a renegade killing spree, and even Al-Qaeda came forward and said, "Look, we're sorry, we didn't mean to do that." So I would like to think we are moving towards a place of more awareness and loving thought.
Yeah, yes. Well, it seemed like there's a lot of things going on here. And it just seemed like even though everybody seems to feel that little nudge of energy that seems to fly by and all of a sudden hit you, it's like wondering where does it come from and who is it that's sending you? And just like I had one employee ask me, why is it that I decided to leave the job even though I need to be employed to support my family? And it's just like I told a lot of them. It's one thing to be involved and have a job, but when you're not the one who actually created the negative formula in the early years to create all this negativeness, whether it be corporations, whether it be businesses, it don't matter what the employment rate status may be. It is something that you are not involved in, and it was something that you were not involved in formulating. And that's the number one key reason why the true one from high above that we call the Creator has kind of put a block in front of you and told you, take a mini vacation and let me take care of this whole thing and clean up the mess. So once this mess is cleaned up, all of a sudden phones are going to ring, people are going to get notices, you need to come back, we would like to have you back now that things are cleaned up. Now this will be the true family that should be here.
So to sum it all up, big dimensional shifts going on right now to a higher place, positivity really beginning to pick up momentum, shedding some of perhaps the dogmatic belief systems and routines and habits that we've been doing for a while now. I can only imagine how long. Big changes taking place in people's lives, and any advice to people out there who might be encountering large changes on their own? I know people who might be leaving relationships, who really might be looking at leaving or even possibly starting other jobs. Perhaps even if it's a little bit scary, perhaps it's a good time to embrace the change and make that leap and make sure and hold a lot of love in your heart as we move through this window.
Exactly, because there's basically going to be a lot of, this is basically the way it goes. It's either going to be a staying together or a falling apart. Lately, there's been a lot of arguing, and some of the families have actually come together and have come to me and asked, why is this happening? Because I simply told them, I said, number one, there is a reason for everything. And sometimes we don't need to be together. We need to set out on our own tracks. We need to start formulating our own formulas in order to make it in this world. And sometimes we kind of hang together too long as family. Sure, family is always going to be there, but we need to get back on our own and be out there on our own. And this is one challenge that we have to face up to. And it's not a bad thing, but if it's something that has happened previously or back in the past that you still have hardship with, it is something that you need to let go, because it is something that you cannot take to the other side once this transitional shift has taken place. If you try and take it to the other side, he's definitely going to keep you where you're at, and you're going, as far as this transitional shift is concerned and taking it to the bright side, yeah, he's going to keep you back. And so best thing I can say is, please, if you can, please let go of the old and focus on the new, because you're going to absolutely be wearing a brand new suit.
That is wonderful. Wonderful words to carry us through the rest of this year right here. Spotted Eagle, thank you so much for taking time to come on in this morning.
Oh, you're welcome.
Listen, I know you are tuned into a whole community that a lot of us are not in touch with, and any time you guys, if you have any messages worth sharing to the rest of us, we sure appreciate the time you take to come on out and make it known, okay?
Oh, yes, definitely. I sure will.
Thank you, sir. Have a beautiful morning. Thanks for listening to 96.3. Good stuff right there. Keep it light, keep it positive, keep it in perspective. Keep it right here at 96.3. KREM FM. That's right, it's Fanny in the morning.